What's up? It is the Wrestling Council. We are back,
baby.
On. You can't keep us down. Obviously, there's going to be a few changes, but yeah, I don't even know what to say, man. I'm just glad to be back here doing this stuff.
It's CBB and HW, baby.
Thanks for being here, guys. We appreciate it, and as always,
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
What's up? But I am Comic Book Bob. I'm joined by my good friend Hollywood Frank.
HW, baby.
Wrestling Council 2.0. Good to see everybody. As soon as everybody starts filing in here. Yeah, this was kind of a surprise. Like we've been working on figuring out how to do this without it being weird. Reconnecting with everybody that used to be part of our group. But you got to take the first step. So this is the first step. This will be our first episode back. We're going to try and bring back the old magic that we used to have. But how you doing this week, man?
I'm doing better, man. Saturday was a long day. It wore me out. But, hey, keep grinding, man. Get ready to rock and roll this week. Got that wrestling. It's a good, bad, and ugly weekend, man, for wrestling. And we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. And, hey, you know what? Got Hell in a Cell coming up around the corner here in a week and a half, or almost week and a half.
Yep.
And we'll talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about Dominion. We'll have some good old wrestling talking.
Yeah. This was this is going to be weird, man, because it's been such a long time since we did this. Trying to get back into that groove of that things, but ultimately it just comes down to we love wrestling, we love talking about it, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get back to where we were. But speaking of wrestling, man, oh my God, there was a lot of stuff happening this weekend. We had SmackDown, got stuff to talk about on there. Some announcements, like you said, announcements about SummerSlam and all that. Hey,
yo, Boogie.
There he is. Our boy Boogie Bentley. Talking Balls Network, guys. Go check it out. But
it's my brother from another mother, man.
Yeah, but the big thing for me was Dominion over the weekend, man. Oh my God, it's interesting because there's a lot of news coming out of New Japan. Obviously, there's the talk about obviously AEW's got a working relation right now, but then there was all the talk about WWE trying to horn in on that. There's a lot of speculation as to why they were doing that. Some of it, one of it was that they were talking about doing that specifically because Daniel Bryan wants to have all these, he wants to do these dream matches, and they're really concerned about him jumping ship.
Hey, Maldacito, welcome to
yes.
It, thanks for coming back,
Maldacito, man. Here driving home from work. Yep. Well, hopefully you'll be able to chime. Hopefully by the time you get home from work, man, we'll still be on. You can chime in and give us an opinion. But yeah, but so right off the bat here, though, we're going to start off with Goldie but a goodie, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
GBU.
And oh boy,
GBU.
Boy, was there some bad and ugly this week, man. But I'll go ahead and start it off. The good for me this week. Shingo Takagi versus Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship that was vacated, unfortunately, by Will Ospreay due to injury. And Shingo Takagi becoming the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in a banger of a match, dude. I've said it, if you go back to the old episodes, we only stopped 4 months ago. But if you go back to my New Japan reports and my time on all the times I was talking about New Japan on the Wrestling Council, Shingo Takagi is hands down been my favorite guy to watch in the ring. The guy's awesome, and the fact that they took a chance and they put the world title on him over top of Kazuchika Okada, who right now, with all the things that are going on with New Japan and things kind of being up in the air with them with a lot of their Gaijin talent. They got a lot of injuries. Like we said, Ospreay had to vacate because of a neck injury. This is the guy, in my opinion, to put it on. He's been so exciting to watch. He's one of those guys that gets in the ring and he doesn't have a bad match. You know what I mean? And you said you watched that match.
Yeah.
Today.
Just got done watching the Okada.
It was
match.
good, man. From bell to
It was
bell.
really good.
Yeah, from bell to bell. And props to Kazuchika Okada for working injured, man. That guy's he's been having problems for months now. And one would hope that with how popular Shingo has been and how good he's been in the ring, that maybe Okada can take a little bit of time off. And Hiromu is about ready to come back too. So they'll be getting back another one of their top guys. Maybe Okada can take some time off, get healed up, and come back better than ever. Because it really bothers me when these guys work injured like that, because things could just exacerbate and get worse and worse. And that's kind of what happened with Ospreay. Ospreay was working injured with that nasty neck impingement, which I'll be talking about that in a minute. So, but yeah, if you guys, if you've never watched New Japan, if you're kind of like trying to figure out, what's the big deal, go to New Japan World. It only costs like $8 a month, $8-9 a month. Some of the best wrestling you're ever going to see. And holy crap, man, that match was fantastic. It was 35 minutes plus, and it wasn't boring at any point. So that was my good. My bad, Raw. I like we say it. We've said it many times before. I'll say it again. I don't like. I'm not a WWE basher. We've never been WWE bashers on the show. We love the WWE. It's just that right now they're not in a good place, specifically Raw in particular. And it's hard for me to understand how SmackDown can have SmackDown's got some really good stuff on it. Okay. Now, granted, there's some crap too, but SmackDown has some really good stuff on it. But Raw is just consistently bad. And last night might have been the worst segment. Last night might have had the worst Raw segment I've ever seen. Shayna Baszler is feuding with a doll. Okay. Let that sink in. Let that sink in for a second, man. Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades, who was one of, if not the most dominant NXT Women's Champions before Io Shirai showed up, is running scared from a freaking doll, and they're doing this is like Hogan versus Warrior in WCW bad. That's how bad that segment was with Hogan. Remember when Hogan was like singing the Warrior in the mirror? I was like, what is this crap? Shayna Baszler is supposed to be your legit. She's supposed to be a monster, and she's running from a doll. It was so bad. It was so bad. The Ugly, like I mentioned, Will Ospreay, his neck injury. He tweeted out an X-ray of that neck injury, and man, I'm not going to put the picture up because it's pretty horrible. But yeah, that is an ugly looking injury, and hopefully it's not going to be something that either ends his career, knock on wood, or seriously impedes it going forward, because the guy's too good. But yep, that's my bag lady. Frank, what do you got?
Oh man, you took some of mine, man. You took some of mine. But I didn't watch a lot of it, but I agree with Bob. New Japan. I mean, it's wrestling. It's not like Hulk Hogan. I mean, Hulk Hogan even said himself. I mean, in New Japan when he was there, he actually had to wrestle and did toe holds and arm bars and things like that. Where in WWE, he didn't have to worry about that. It was all leg drops and brother and pointing the finger, brother. So it was all pageantry. Yeah, New Japan is where it's at, and I'm hoping that with United States and these programs getting back to being on the road, that New Japan follows suit shortly afterwards. Be nice to be able to open up, get talent to come to the States, talent from the States to go to New Japan, and not have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. Once it opens up, it's going to open up a whole new ball game. But yeah, so Dominion, New Japan, that's my good. My bad. Wow. There's quite a bit. That segment with Street Profits, Chad Gable, and Otis. Yeah. That was awful. That was bad. I mean,
it was weird. I don't know if it was necessarily the worst thing I've ever seen.
It's not weird. The worst thing, because the worst thing is like you said, but you call it your bad. I call it my ugly. It's Shayna Baszler versus a doll, Lily. Seriously, a doll. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't. Maybe I got a pay-per-view wrong. I thought it was Extreme Rules with Shayna Baszler. Maybe it was a Money in the Bank a couple years ago. I can't remember which pay-per-view she was in, where she dominated. Like
it was Hell in a no. It was Elimination Chamber.
Oh, that's right, Elimination Chamber. She
yeah,
dominated everybody. Everybody. She
destroyed everybody.
She crushed them.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, she's fighting a
2 years, 2 months.
No, 2 years. It was 2 years ago.
No, it was a year ago. It was last year.
No. I don't think it was last year.
Yeah. It was yeah, but ago. Anyway, yeah, she goes from wrecking people to feeding
afraid of a doll. She gets beat by a sommelier last week. Yeah, and she's scared of a doll this week.
It's so bad. It's so bad, man.
So that's my good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah. But in the chat right now, we got some people talking they're good, bad, ugly. Maldecito said, good, Penta's Joker gear. That was actually pretty cool. His Joker theme gear was pretty cool. Bad is Raw. Bad, the budget cuts. That's another thing, man. When we'll get into it when we're talking about the shows. But one of the things I was noticing, like we were talking about on Raw, on SmackDown. Even though I really like the Roman head of the table versus Usos, that whole storyline. I really like that storyline. Why are the Usos wrestling twice in the same night? Why are you using? It's like, do you? And we were talking about this before, and we were talking about how after all these budget cuts and all these people that were released, the roster over at SmackDown is really small. Like there's not a whole lot of people over there.
Especially the women's roster.
The women's division, there's like 7 people. They're down to like 7 people on SmackDown. And for the men, I think it was less than 20 of active wrestlers. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Maybe if you had some of those people, you wouldn't have to have your teams wrestling twice in one night. And they did it on Raw too, with Riddle and Orton, and the New Day, and it was New Day and Orton and Riddle in the tag team match at the beginning of the show, and then Riddle versus Kofi later on the show again. It's like, what are you doing? And Raw, even though Raw's been pared down quite a bit too, they still have more people than they have over on SmackDown. They have almost twice as many people over Raw and SmackDown, but it's still really pared down. And the women's division has really, really, really been slashed.
Yeah, you look at the women's division on SmackDown. You've got Bianca, Bayley, and Sasha. That's it. Who else is a legitimate threat to the belt? On Raw, you've got Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, and Asuka. Again, who is a legitimate threat on Raw for the title? Who think he's even gonna? Nikki Cross?
Oh my God!
No.
They have just made her.
No.
That whole thing just made her.
Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss? No. Nope.
Yeah. NRE says WWE says it's budget cuts when in reality Nick Khan has changed his philosophy and WWE running hoarding talent so other places don't have it. That's true, but when your women's roster has been pared down so much that you don't have enough people to where you're fielding the same matches every week, you got a problem. You can't do that. Like it's ridiculous, man.
I mean, you lost Becky Lynch. She could be back soon, but she was out pregnant.
Yep.
You got Lacey Evans, who's out pregnant.
Lacey's
you got
out
Ronda
pregnant.
Rousey. You got Ronda Rousey. You're not bringing back because she's pregnant.
You've got talent that hasn't been seen in months, like Naomi. I mean, when was the last time you saw Naomi in a match?
It was with Lana. Lana.
It was Lana. Yeah, Lana's gone now too. So it's just, I don't know what's going on with the women's division. They've been booking them really weak. There's talent there, but it's stagnant. It's like they don't know what to do with them. But speaking about SmackDown, like I said, I thought the Roman storyline stuff was really good. I think I thought the match between Kevin Owens and Apollo Crews was great. I hated the finish. I didn't like the finish. I don't like the fact that they're making him. I mean, I get it. They're trying to make him out to be the biggest heel that they can possibly make him out to be. And so that's why he's, like Aziz is getting involved in all of his matches and stuff like that. But at the same time, it kind of makes him look weak. So at some point, you got to let him get some wins. But I thought the match itself was pretty good. Like I said, the finish was a little wonky. What else happened on SmackDown?
And you said you talked about earlier about Kevin. You making Apollo Crews look weak by having what's his name? Aziz beat up Kevin Owens before the match.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, on one hand, I'm like, I'm kind of torn by that because I really don't want. I would definitely rather that than constantly having these DQ matches. WWE, don't worry about the women; they'll get the complimentary trash bag care package.
Yeah, they will.
Man,
yeah, they will.
That was a big blow up.
Also, you talk about what SmackDown. You had that
SmackDown.
Carmella was out. You had that segment with Carmella.
That wasn't good. The first match between the Mysterios and Usos was good.
You have, I guess it's SmackDown's version of Elias. We have another guitar player.
Oh, the dude that's hooked up with Nakamura.
Shinsuke. Yeah, you got another guitar player. So you got a guitar player on both shows now. You got to have another. You got to have another. Are they getting? It does. But are you getting rid of the guitar for Elias? Is he not?
Well,
is it not more? There's no more walk with Elias.
I don't know, dude. And we'll talk about Raw here in a minute.
and then the Street Profits versus with the segments with Chad Gable and Otis. Dumb.
Yeah, I
wasn't a fan of that.
I don't care.
And we talked about it yesterday. You're set at Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns for Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Okay. Who really thinks it's going to be a good match that Mysterio even has a chance?
Well, it'll be a good match because Rey is good and Roman's good. But nobody, I don't think anybody's has any illusions about whether or not Rey's going to win or lose. They're not taking that belt off of Roman anytime soon.
No.
So the question is if that is the main event, is that going to be able to? Because that's the first show back with live crowd, right? That's supposed to be in front of a live crowd, correct?
I don't know. Well, I don't know if it is or not because they're touring in July, and Hell in a Cell is on June 20th. So I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to double check and make sure. I'm sure it's probably going to be in front of a crowd.
And that callback by Roman Reigns, or not Roman Reigns, McIntyre, that was last night. I'm sorry. That was last night. I'm mixing up my shows. Yeah, but Usos versus Mysterio. I mean, 2 times. Once was enough, but it gets Roman Reigns. It gets the Usos over. You saw a little bit of dissension with Jimmy not agreeing with what he did to Rey Mysterio and his son there. So we'll see. I mean, I don't see Jimmy turning on Rey or his brother.
No, I don't. If anything, what'll happen is it'll be kind of similar to what happened last year.
With
Jay when he basically got beat into submission. I honestly would be very interested to see like a Samoan dynasty kind of faction thing, which is what we thought they were building. I would like to see, but
I still think they're planning on putting the titles on the Usos though. I think that'll happen soon.
Oh, I 100%. I think someone said that they were talking about because isn't Hell in a Cell on Father's Day?
It's June 20th, whatever. Is Father's Day that day?
I'm not sure. It's here. Father's Day,
I think
2021.
so.
Father's Day. Yeah, it's June 20th.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So they're going to have really, so they'd had the big heartwarming thing where they won the titles, father and son, and they're going to have them drop it on Father's Day.
Well, I don't know, because you're going to have Rey Mysterio in the title match, supposedly with Roman Reigns. So do you have him in 2 matches on that day?
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Are we going to, here's the thing though. Are we going to get, is that the match we're going to get at Hell in a Cell, or are we going to get it at the next pay-per-view?
I think they're setting up Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio at Hell in a Cell.
Okay. Well, that was, well, thank God for that then, because having them losing, like, I would have had them win the titles at WrestleMania, the Mysterios. I would have had them win it at WrestleMania, and then, or if you're not going to have them do it win it at WrestleMania, have them win it on Father's Day.
Yeah.
You know, have them win it at Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, just with the beatdown of Dominic by Roman Reigns, I think Rey's going to want revenge and going to challenge him to a match at Hell in a Cell this Friday. So that'll set that up.
I think that's what's been set up. But and we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah,
but,
you're right. You're right, Boogie. Typical WWE finds a way to embarrass your talent.
Yeah, pretty much. But and that's the other thing. And then again, like we were talking about, having both the teams wrestle again on the same day, the same night. You know, I'm just like, what the hell's going on here? Why are we doing this? Why are we double booking this stuff? And then, you know, flipping over to Raw, did the same damn thing. Like, dude, this is okay. So these were my notes for friggin' Raw, and like, I don't want to spend too much time on Raw because I despise it. But here's my my notes from Raw. Starting their show with a match. Credit for trying to change it up. I will give them credit for that. They changed it up. They actually opened the show with a match, which is good. You know, I'm 100% for that. But before the match could even start, AJ and Omos comes out, and AJ cuts this long-winded, boring ass friggin' promo. It was 10 minutes plus, man. And I like, literally, here's my notes. How much longer is this promo going to go on? And then right after that, why is the Miz here? It's like I thought we got away from, I mean, Miz is injured. Let him sit at home for a little while, man. I mean, my God, he doesn't have to be on television at the beginning of every show. It just makes me want to friggin' put a gun in my mouth.
Hey, you gotta have Johnny Drip Trip in there somewhere. You need to have the Miz out there.
I said I'm okay with Viking Raiders. I was actually very happy that the Viking Raiders won that match. I'm okay with that. You know, let's have them be a legitimate tag team again. Not that they're healthy or anything, because we desperately need it. The Arcade Bro stuff is okay. Hopefully, it's leading to something good. I have no confidence that they're not going to friggin' drop the ball with that, though. The Arcade Bro stuff. I mean, yes, it's comedic. You know, I would, you know, yes, it's kind of goofy, but it's actually fairly entertaining. As long as there's some kind of payoff with this thing. There has to be either they have to win the tag team championships, or there has to be a falling out, and we get Riddle versus Randy, you know, something like that. Ray and Charlotte teaming is stupid. Question: how many times did the announcers say how are they going to coexist? Like literally through the entire show, that's like, how are they going to coexist? I was like, they're not. We know they're not. This is stupid. And it absolutely buries Nikki. It makes her look like she's not. It's like just pointless for her to even be there. She's the new Lana. Nikki is the new, like Nikki is the Lana in this situation. Riker versus Elias. Didn't care. Ended with a count out because of course it did. We'll get back to that again. Then the contract signing, dude, was I the only person who was not entertained by this contract signing? It was boring, man. And it took forever.
It did. The only good thing about it was the comment that Roman McIntyre made sort of referencing The Godfather.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of cool. That was kind of funny. Then I was just like random notes, like what the hell's going on with the women's division? It's like it's stuck in neutral. Bianca versus Bailey. Am I the only one who feels like this is just boring?
That's SmackDown.
Yeah, it just feels off, man. It's I know, but like I'm talking about that, and then you look at Rhea versus Charlotte. It's the same thing, you know. Yeah. They're not building up Rhea to make her look strong. The only person who comes out of this the only person who came out of this the women's match tonight that night that looked that it did anything for was Charlotte.
Now you got Psycho Alexis on Raw. Are you turning Bailey into a psycho on SmackDown with her just crazy laughing and all those cameras?
Yeah,
it's like
I don't know what's going on there. Ricochet versus Carrillo. I think they did the best they could with what they had, but the match ended in a double count out because, of course, it did. Oh my God! One of the good. Okay, so here's the one good thing on this show. Well, one of the two good things on this show, the Kofi segment with MVP in the back. I thought that was a really, really good. That was really good, and could lead to something really cool. But I have no faith in them again. Not screwing it up. Like I said, please do something with that. Have Kofi have Kofi become part of the Hurt Business.
Yeah, but you tried that with Shelton Benjamin and what's his name, Alexander.
Again, that's like I said. I don't have faith in them not screwing this up. So, yeah, exactly. Maldacito. Bailey's character is she's just a Karen. That's literally what she is now, and it's boring. It's boring and it's stupid. Mustafa and Ali, that whole segment with them, that would be a good team. I think that would be a good team, if they do something with it, but I know they won't. Hardy versus Alexander. In the ring, it was good. The finisher was just crap. Alexander just continues to just flounder. They don't know what to do with him.
No,
I don't know if they care. Women's match wasn't particularly bad. It was just kind of there. Riddle versus Kofi, really good in-ring action. Please God, just build something out of this, man. Like this is something that could be something. This could be really good. Just build something out of this, please.
You're building up to the best.
Oh God,
best of the end on Raw.
The last two notes that I had: Alexa versus Shayna was complete dog shit. This is Warrior versus Hogan WCW bad. And why are we double booking talent on these shows? So those are my notes from Raw. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about Raw because it was just god awful. It might have been one of the it was one of the worst episodes of Raw I've ever watched. And it hurts my heart saying that because I love the WWE. Like I said, the talent that they have there is second to none. We've said that before. And they just, and like I said, SmackDown, despite the few problems that it has, is light years better than Raw. But it's the same creative team. How are these two shows so different?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
And every time they talked about it, because you have the draft coming up, in August? Is that what he moved the draft up to?
Yeah. It's going to be at the end of August.
Yeah, so you have the draft in August, and every year they've done it, it's 3 picks for Raw and 2 picks for SmackDown because Raw is the A show. Yeah. Not anymore.
Yeah. And you're right, Boogie. It was painful to walk through. Like, let me put it this way. Okay, again, remember, this is happening over a 3-hour show, which is too damn much. And we'll talk about that some more when we start talking about AEW.
Yeah, but
it took me two sittings to get through Raw. That's how bad it was. I made it about an hour and 45 minutes and then I had to stop. I couldn't do it anymore. But yeah, dude, I don't understand it. I don't understand how these two shows are so different from each other.
And if you want to know how bad Raw is, just watch the last segment with Shayna and the doll.
Dude.
Just watch the last 10 minutes.
Shayna
and the
Baszler.
doll.
Shayna Baszler, who is legit supposed to be, who is one of the few talents on there that is a legit fighter. She's an MMA. She's a former MMA fighter. You know, that was the whole reason why she did. And yes, I understand. She's not particularly good on the stick. She needs people around her to help like get her over personality wise. Okay. But the whole idea behind her character was that she was a legit killer. You know what I mean? That's what got her over in NXT. That she had one of the longest runs as champion in NXT. Why they didn't do that for her on the main roster, I don't understand. But you're going to have one of the few legit people, arguably the most legit woman on your women's roster, period, on either show, and you're going to have her feud with a freaking doll. This is stupid. Everybody knows it's stupid. I don't care about the excuses. I saw some guy saying, he's like, y'all were talking about, you hated Shayna because you thought she was boring and blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, she should have been as a killer. Blah, blah. I said, dude, for every one of the people that you found that was saying that Shayna was boring, I could find you two people that were saying that this is the Shayna Baszler that we wanted. She was supposed to be a killer. Okay. But, and even if people were saying that she was boring because they didn't put her with somebody that could help her personality, help her get her over like that. Going to the opposite end of the spectrum and doing something this silly, it's not a solution. That's easy. Yeah. Maldacito said that Roman and Paul have some control on SmackDown, whereas Raw's just Vince or a high up flunky.
Yeah.
But it's the same creative team. So I get that Roman and Paul have some creative control over their characters and whatnot, but it's the same creative team. And if you see, hey, this is working over on SmackDown, let's duplicate it over here on Raw. Why aren't you doing that? It's almost like Raw has become the throwaway show. And I know that's not the case, but it really feels like that might be. It feels like that. That's what it feels like. Anyway, I don't want to get too negative on this. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's talk about Dynamite.
Yeah, but Maldacito, it's the One Warrior Nation, baby. It wasn't as good. you got to be smirching a little bit.
The One Warrior Nation. Oh my God, dude. Oh man. By the way, you watched the Dark Side of the Ring for the Ultimate Warrior, right?
Oh yeah.
Dude, by the way, Dark Side, but for everybody that's watching, if you haven't watched Dark Side of the Ring this season, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, Brian Pillman, really good.
And I understand. Yeah, and that's a big problem too, Mouse. Is them rewriting the show like literally. Sometimes they rewrite it while the show's going on, so that's never good either. But Dark Side of the Ring, the Pillman episodes were really good. The Warrior one was really good. Have you been watching the A&E documentaries?
I didn't see the last one. I did see the
Bret Hart
Randy
one.
Savage. I saw the Ultimate Warrior one.
Mm-hmm.
The latest one.
This last one, this current one, the Bret Hart one is the last one, and I haven't had a chance to watch it either.
Yeah, I didn't see the newest Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, that's the Dynamite Kid, right?
No. What's his name? Oh, my God. Cornette did a review on it. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Grizzly Smith.
That's it, Grizzly Smith. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. Well, actually, that one was last week. This week's is Dynamite Kid.
Okay. Now I'm 2 behind then.
Yeah, but those have been really that's actually one of my favorite shows to watch. Even though it's tough because you love those guys and you want to see them. You don't like going back through and seeing this stuff. Like I said, when the Chris Benoit one came out, that was hard to watch, dude. But there's so much information in there that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah,
and
you got Plane Ride from Hell. I think is one of the episodes this year for Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, there's a couple of good ones coming for Dark Side of the Ring, but yeah, if you guys haven't checked out those documentaries on A&E, those have been really good. And Dark Side of the Ring has been really good too.
Yeah,
but
time to move over to AEW.
Yep.
Which is not doing really well on Friday nights.
That's
a little over 500,000 this past Friday.
Yeah, they actually got beat. They actually got beat by NXT this week. They got beat by NXT, and that's something that before we get into the show, that is. And look, I'm not worried about Dynamite because once Dynamite goes back to its regular slot here in a month, everything will be fine. Okay, Dynamite's not the problem. And then when Dynamite switches over to TBS, I'm not worried about that either. Here's the problem. The thing that worries me is the slot that they're in right now while the NBA playoffs are going on and everything. That's the slot that their new show is going to be in.
Rampage.
Yeah, that's the slot that their new show Rampage is going to be occupying going forward normally. And that starts in August, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. So, and the idea that the reason why they did this is supposedly because the idea behind it is that after everybody's done watching SmackDown, the people from the fans of that show and that will flip over to watch Rampage for the next hour because Rampage is only a 1 hour show. Here's the problem with that. What has everybody been saying about Raw? 3 hours is too long. It's too much. 3 hours is too long. So that doesn't bode well for your show that is essentially going to become the third hour of wrestling on that night. This is worrisome. Like right now, like I said, I'm not worried about Dynamite. Dynamite, when it goes back to its regular slot, it'll be fine. I'm worried about their new show going forward. And we still don't even know what format that show is going to be. Is it going to be something more like Dark? Is it going to be something like me? If it was me, I would make it more like New Japan Strong, where it's just an hour of wrestling, like very little fanfare, very little stuff in between. You tell the story in the ring. You know what I mean? I would do a show like that, and I would look to start putting over some of this young talent that they've got. Even though I know that that's what they do on Dark, I think they need to or even maybe use that show as your cross-platform show, as your cross-promotion show, something like that. They need to do something different than Dynamite, and they need to do something different than Dark. But it worries me because, like I said, this is essentially hour 3, and we all know that hour 3 suffers greatly.
Yeah. Plus, Friday night at 10 o'clock, not a good time. I mean, people are winding down from the week, working all week, Monday through Friday, and it's just they want to relax or do stuff with their family because it's a weekend. And or they're still wound up from the week. They just turn in early and start Saturday getting ready to go, and boom.
Yeah.
You don't want to do stuff on Friday night, or they go out. They go out and hey, it's Friday night, so weekend. Hey, we're going to the bars. We're going to go have fun.
Yeah. Now, if they put the show on before SmackDown, that might not be a bad idea. SmackDown is starts at 8, goes to 10.
Yeah, 8 to 10.
8 to 10. Put it on from 7 to 8. That might be better. Than 10 to 11. 10 to 11, you're getting to the, like you said, where people are they're going to bars and stuff. They're hanging out with their family. They're turning in early. I just don't know. I'm and here, look, guys, I'm an idiot. I might be completely wrong about this. I may be completely wrong. The show may get out there and it may kill it, and hopefully so. But yeah, like just seeing what's happening to their flagship show in that time slot makes me think that this new show not going to fare much better. An hour wrap up show to push storylines into that wouldn't be bad, That wouldn't be bad. Agree. Yeah, shut the hell up. But anyway, let's get into like I said, enough negativity. Let's get into Dynamite. Dynamite was a decent show. It wasn't their particularly a strong show. I would say this is more along the lines of a kind of like a just a typical decent show. Wasn't great, wasn't particularly great, wasn't particularly bad. Although there were a couple of moments that were there were a couple segments that were a little weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
It started off fantastic though.
Yeah, talk about Red Velvet versus
No, the opening match was Bucks versus Death Triangle.
Oh yeah.
I was like, dude, what the hell show did you watch?
Sorry. Yeah. With
Take the lead here, man.
With the Joker.
Yeah.
Mr. Penta.
Dude, Penta's he had the same ring gear on his that he had on the pay-per-view, which is pretty dope.
Yeah. Looked really good. Him and Pac.
Mm-hmm.
Bastard Pac looked really good.
Yeah, well, they're two. You got 4 of the best wrestlers working today out there, man. But it was a really good match. The next thing was after that the Andrade thing happened, right?
He had Mark Henry come out introducing Mark Henry because he's going to be the commentator for Rampage. And he was about to say that he's still got, talking about how he's still got some left in the tank. And then after he said that, excuse me.
Okay. So that was one of the things that a lot of people were cringing about. They're like, ugh. Was that she's still leaning into that old gimmick. What do you think? Is it because on one hand, I'm like, she's supposed to be a heel. You're not supposed to like it. Oh, hold the cat up.
Yeah. Hold the cat up.
Get Kitty. Give the people what they want, man. You gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also like, yeah, that is kind of grating. So I mean, if she had just come out and she'd been, and she just acted like a heel and she didn't have to do the screeching thing. But at the same time, I'm like, she's a heel, That's her thing. It's her gimmick. It's what she's famous for.
Yeah.
That and marrying Eddie Guerrero.
No, they have a good.
So I wasn't.
They have a daughter out there that's wrestling. I don't know where she's at right now, but
no, she's not allowed to use the Guerrero name.
Yeah,
which is kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Dumb. But and then Andrade came out, which Andrade coming out was pretty cool. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, Maldacita. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like I get what people are saying. Like it's really. I didn't particularly like it when she was doing it in WWE. It was grating as hell. It got old really quick, but it's what she's famous for, and she's supposed to be a heel, so it's working.
Yeah, that double move on a ring apron with Pac, Penta, and the Young Bucks was interesting.
Courtney. Yes, Courtney.
Courtney, hey, hello, Courtney.
You can't keep a good thing down, guys. You can't keep a good thing down. But thanks for showing back up. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be able to get back to what we were doing before.
We're on a little sabbatical, okay? Little.
Yeah,
WC,
I'm a little stiff.
WC break.
Yeah, I'm a little stiff. Got to get back in the swing of things.
But you got CBB and HW, baby. Okay.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, man, we got to figure out what pay-per-view we're going to live stream next.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of pay-per-view that's coming up. I don't know if there's any that great matches on Hell in a Cell. Really don't.
Yeah. Maybe Survivor, maybe SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think
SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam's gonna be a big deal
because SummerSlam is Money in the Bank should be the first pay-per-view with fans in attendance. So we'll have to see who the participant. I know, but it's the first one. We had to see what kind of matches they have on there and decide at that point.
I've never been a big fan of Money in the Bank. It's never been. I've never been a big.
Come on, you had Otis win it last year.
Oh, for the love of God! and we had Ray thrown off the top of a building, and he was fine the next day. Okay. Here's the thing, though. I honestly think that they did the zombies eating Miz to make people forget about the fact that the Ray got thrown off of a building as being one of the dumbest things that they ever did, and then he just was back the next day.
No. His eye getting poked out was the dumbest thing.
Oh God, man! It's you know what that whole thing is. That whole thing is the writers in the back going, like, God, that was dumb. You know what? I think we can go dumber. It's just them trying to one up each other on how stupid the thing is.
Yeah, we'll eventually have to do a WWE one, Courtney, because you got SummerSlam, you got Survivor. Well, not Survivor Series. We got SummerSlam, you got Royal Rumble, you got WrestleMania. Yeah.
I don't have a problem doing the big four, especially this coming SummerSlam, because I think Brock's coming back and I think Becky's coming back.
Yeah,
I think
I wasn't a big. Yeah, you said a big four, but I wasn't a big fan of Survivor Series last year. It was awful.
No, but that's also partially because of the pandemic.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to
we're definitely going to we're definitely going to do a New Japan show.
AEW.
Zombies equals Boogie canceling Peacock. Yeah, dude, it was pretty bad. But anyway, AEW, Andrade coming out was really cool. I did think it was weird that. Do you think they jumped the gun on that a little bit? Do you think they should have waited until they had like a better presentation for him? Like at least some entrance music or something, dude. He came out to nothing.
He did. Interrupting Mark Henry didn't make sense at that point. I mean, let the guy have his 30 seconds there on AEW, and then it felt that was one of the segments I felt was like they kind of dropped the ball on. It should have been two separate segments, and Andrade's showing up should have been a much bigger deal. I'm surprised they didn't, like, his first appearance wasn't a match.
I honestly think that I honestly think that was kind of rushed. I think that they were like, let's get this out there right now. Let's show everybody, like this is the big holy crap thing that we're gonna have on our show.
Yeah. And like Miro and Andrade as a tag team, I think would have been a good.
Oof. That would have been bad.
Good intro.
Yeah. Then we had Factory versus the Nightmare Family. Match was pretty good. It's a distraction finish, man. It's a distraction finish, and that's the second one in the show.
Yep. Second
one in the show because Cutler was a distraction finish for the Bucks, and then we had a distraction finish here, and I'm not a fan of that. Now granted, AEW doesn't do that a lot. The fact that they did it twice in one show, I'm like, that's not a good trend. So, Mousy, no, I liked it because nobody understood, and when they realized what was going on, the crowd went alive. Oh, dude, the crowd reaction was awesome when Andrade came in. Like I said, I'm not mad that they did the segment. I just felt like the segment could have been done better. Like if she'd come out and she was like, she didn't exactly say, she says, let me introduce you to the next big thing here in AEW or something like that. And then you get a entrance music, and then his name explodes across the top of there, man. And then he came out. I think that would have been even bigger pop. I think but once he did come out there, they popped pretty big for it. But I just think it could have been done better. It felt like it was rushed.
Yeah.
But getting back to the Factory versus Nightmare Family, this was a decent. It was an okay match. It was an okay match. Distraction finish. I didn't like it. I kind of like the story between the Nightmare Family and the Factory, that kind of thing. The only thing I'm wondering is where this is going to all end. Where is it going to lead to? Because we've already had Cody versus QT Marshall.
Yep.
So where is this going to lead? So I don't know if they have an exit strategy for that storyline, but again, this was just it was a serviceable match with a finish I didn't particularly care for. Like I said, it felt too much like a WWE style match. Inner Circle promo was pretty cool. I like that Jericho was putting over Sammy as the hero of the moment. Because if you go back to that pay-per-view, man, like that whole pay-per-view was designed to elevate young talent. Hello. Yeah. Care to weigh in on the subject?
Yeah. I agree. I mean, the Inner Circle, it was nice to see him propping up and talking about Sammy Guevara, because I think Sammy Guevara has improved tremendously. I think he can be have some great matches with Jungle Boy, Darby Allin. I think putting those guys together would be phenomenal. And if you're gonna have a cruiserweight title or something like that, those guys would elevate it tremendously. Because I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure at this point, Jungle Boy versus wrestling for the title it's too soon for him. Too soon.
I like that it's going to be a television match, and it'll probably be probably be a decent match. Well, it won't, not probably, it will be a decent match. But I agree with you. And like I said, this is to build these guys up. Does anybody really think that Kenny's dropping that title to Jungle Boy? No. But yeah, but like I said, this was them taking a couple of that pay-per-view was them taking like 4 or 5 of their biggest young stars and just building them up, which is exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, because there's no reason to be building up Chris Jericho or
ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, they could maybe the Factory versus the Nightmare Family builds to a blood and guts match. I could see that happening. But at the same time, it's like, that's about the only thing it could build to at this point, because you've had the 2 leaders go at it and the match has already been done. But Jungle Boy and Christian versus Private Party was a decent match. I'll be honest with you, I'm more interested in Hardy versus Christian and Jungle Boy versus Omega. This was kind of a filler match. It was all right. Again, this felt very much like a filler episode of Dynamite rather than the coming off of one of their biggest pay-per-views ever.
Yeah, because Hardy and Christian have had some phenomenal matches when they were both in tag teams, TLC matches.
And they know each other so well, man.
Yeah,
they know each other so well. So and yeah, they can't go like they used to, but I think they can still put on a pretty decent match. Montecito, I like heel Private. Yeah, I do too. I think Private Party going heel was probably the best thing that they could do for them. I think that elevated them a lot. But see what else was that? See next. What was next, man?
Was it the women's match next? Oh no! It was Sting Darby Allin segment.
Yeah, it was a Sting. Yeah, I think they had 3 straight segments, didn't they? It was Sting Darby Allin.
Britt Baker celebration.
Well, before that, they had the Taz thing. It was Sting Darby Allin. Then they did the Taz segment. Which, dude, is anybody here not thinking that at the next big match that they have, that Team Taz turns on friggin' on Brian Gage and just beats the living hell out of him?
Yeah.
I mean, we know that's where it's headed.
Yeah, you got Brian Cage and Hobbs versus
Brian
Hangman and Dark Order member to be determined.
Which I almost guarantee you the Dark Order member is either going to be Silver or it's going to be Uno, because they're really pushing Uno right now, which good for them. He's a good wrestler. But yeah, dude, we got to talk about that Britt Baker segment.
Yeah, but then he had Darby Allin and Sting after Taz, and then it was Sky and Paige
Sky and Paige came out and talked some crap.
Yeah.
But dude, we got to talk about that.
But they want somebody other than Sting to be in that match.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows who Darby Allin's going to get? But then Britt Baker was next.
Okay, 100%. That segment was crazy.
She deserves a title. I mean,
100%.
She's worked her ass off to get it. So it's great to see her. Great to see her have the title.
Yeah, and like I said, when we said that pay-per-view was to build up young talent, she's one of the young talent I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, she is. Is there another wrestler who has improved as much as she has in the last year? Can you name somebody?
Not really.
Yeah. So absolutely. I mean, she 100% deserved that. But that segment was 100% cringe. That segment was cringe as hell. But here's the question. Because again, this is another one of those things that's got everybody split. Was it cringe in a good way or was it cringe in a bad way? Because you got to remember, she's a heel. She's supposed to be an asshole.
she's a heel, but then you have Nyla Rose coming out and throwing cake everywhere and busting balloons.
Are they trying to turn Nyla into a face?
Not with Vicky.
Again, one of the things I think what this is, is Cody and the mentality of Tony Khan. This is one of the things I disagree with Cody and Tony Khan about, that there's no such thing as a pure heel or babyface anymore. I completely disagree with that. And I think that what we're going to get two heels versus each other, but they're trying to make Nyla Rose seem sympathetic in this somehow. I don't know how, but that it seems like that's what they're trying to do. But getting back to the segment, a lot of people that, like I said, if you go on social media, they're completely split about whether or not this was a good segment or not. Me personally, yes, it was 100% cringe. It was cringe as hell, but it was cringe in a good way because you're supposed to not like her. You know, it's stupid. It's a dumb segment, but it's designed to make you realize that she's a heel. You know, so I get it. I didn't have a problem with it, but a lot of people did. So what did you think?
I was not a fan of the segment. I think it did get her over as a heel. You know, hey, look under your chair for your free coupon for a free burger. Because earlier in the day, earlier in the night, you got a free shirt from Chris Jericho. I'll do one better by giving you all a free burger. Oh no, these are my burgers.
Yeah.
I'm the champion.
It's like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. So,
but yeah,
it helped get her. Not helped, but I think her being a heel and all that.
Yeah.
You got to play like that and piss the fans off because that's what you want to do. But I just didn't understand the end with Nyla Rose. Just did not understand where they're going with that.
Yeah, it's
because she left, and then Vicky left with her.
Yeah.
So it's not like Vicky's leaving her anytime soon.
Yeah, and like, I don't know if you watch Being the Elite, but they do those segments every week together. So I don't know, man. For me, I didn't mind the segment. Did it feel kind of, was it cringy? Yeah, it was cringy as hell. But at the same time, I'm like, well, she's a heel. It's, and
D.
Yeah, it's whatever, man. Was it a particularly great segment? No, I also think it went way too long. But yeah, I don't think it was the worst thing in the world, but I don't think it was the best. It pretty much summed up exactly the show. It felt like filler.
It's all about
yeah.
It's all about DMD.
Yeah. You were talking about the women's match, Red Velvet versus the Bunny. It was an okay match, but man, that was the most convoluted, weird ending that I think I've seen in a long time. It's like, first off, it was another distraction ending, but it was the face's friends that were doing the distraction, and the heels plan failed, but it was still distraction. So it was like a half a distraction.
Yeah.
So it was like,
yeah, I agree.
It was just,
and Maldacito, yeah, she did flop. Britt did flop as the face, and when she turned heel, and when she bled, that really helped push her over.
Oh yeah, that was the Becky Lynch effect right there. When she got busted in her face. Maldacito said, "I said it a while ago. Sheeta was the future. Nyla was an attraction, and it feels like the attraction ran its course." Nyla Rose, like I've said it before, and I'll say it again. She should be used like Andre the Giant was used in the WWE. She should be this monster that shows up every once in a while, wrecks the hell out of everybody, becomes this monumental obstacle for your top face to overcome. And, once that match has happened, she disappears for a little while, rinse, repeat.
That's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Well, no, because Brock, they put the freaking title on him and then he disappeared. So now your title's held up for the next 4 or 5 months. And he only wrestles like twice a year.
Right.
Now, granted, those two matches are like the biggest matches of your entire freaking year, but still.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way I felt. But
Red Velvet.
Getting
back to Red Velvet. And I mentioned that dive she took to the outside.
Ooh, she got lucky. Yeah,
if you didn't see that, man, she face first into through there and hit the ground. I mean, wow, she could have snapped her neck.
Yeah,
easily.
She very easily. She did kind of like, remember when Cody went over the top rope and he landed on the ramp and busted his head open? She very easily could have hurt herself on that dive really badly. So it was
saw that. I'm like, woo-hoo-hoo. I had to rewind and watch it again. I'm like, wow.
That was almost my ugly this week was her near death experience. It was like, whoa. But but then like I said, the ending. So we got like a sort of kind of interference,
Yeah,
it was just so weird, man. But I mean, the match was okay. That the finish just didn't make any sense to me. The last match of the night, though, Camarado versus Dustin. Dustin made Camarado look like a freaking star, dude.
Yeah.
That was just a good old fashioned smash mouth.
And he bled early.
Yeah. Yeah, triple. Yeah. So I'm saying that La Parka passed away because of a dive like that. Yeah, dude. Like if you guys didn't watch that match, go back and rewatch it. When she does that dive, like the way she lands, if the weight, if enough of her weight lands in the opposing direction, her neck snaps like a twig, and it was just like, ooh, like legitimate. When I saw that, like I did that, and I like grabbed, like the face I just made right now. I was like, oh my god. If she's if she's not hurt, it's a miracle. But yeah, Camarado versus Dustin, man. What did you think?
I liked it. That's just pitting two not heavyweights, but two
old school style wrestlers.
Two, firm, husky guys against each other, which is the way it should be. I mean, it's
husky guys.
Yeah, them husky guys. Give them husky guys.
That's a little.
Okay. And that's a good matchup for Dustin. I mean, he can put over talent like nobody's business, and
that's what he's there to do.
And he can tell a good story in the ring. So you want, if I'm Camarado, I'm like, you got your match versus Dustin tonight. Do you want it? Ding.
Dude, and I guarantee you, it's mildly says it's called a hoss fight, dude. But yeah, dude, and I guarantee you, Camarado, when they went into the back, he was like, man, thank you for that. Because he made Camarado look like a legit beast.
He did.
And Camarado looks like me, like we said, like Camarado looks like the love child of friggin' Bruiser Brody. So that's the kind of match that he needs to become famous for. Is those old school, those old school smash mouth, classic style.
Yeah, you're right. Hoss fight.
Yeah, it's a hoss fight, dude. Yeah. Dustin's a pretty good sized dude, man. He's lanky, but he's a pretty good sized dude. And Camarado, like I said, looks like he doesn't have a neck. But that was actually probably my favorite. That was actually probably my favorite match of the night, man, because it was just like I said, it was a good old fashioned. And like you said, they bled quick. They bled very quickly. They got color really soon into that match. But
I could see them possibly putting those two together, even in the future. Yeah, as a tag team.
Well, I mean, maybe after all this Cody QT Marshall stuff is over, and like that they disperse into it somewhere. Hey, Fantasia, what's up? Thanks for hanging out.
Hey, Fantasia,
see you guys again.
Welcome back.
Yep,
we are back, Fantasia.
Yes. He needs more polish, but he can get to something. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. If he keeps going the way he's going, and if he keeps, if he really puts his nose to the grindstone, I really think he could turn into something unique, like you said. But
I will say this. I mean, people rip on AEW for bringing in all this WWE talent. They got this guy, they got Paul White, they got Mark Henry, they got Andrade, they got this, but they're young talent. MJF, Camarado, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy. I mean, they're doing those guys right. I mean, they're building up those guys, and it's not something you can do. Say, we're gonna take it to the moon right away. You've got to work with these guys, get them going. Britt Baker, I mean, you can't say enough good things, and what she's done with those guys and with her boy Adam Cole to make her better.
Oh yeah, and you know that he's helping to coach her.
And you've got what today's the 8th. I mean, you've got just over a month before Mickie James and other talent that was released. The first purge that WWE is going to be available to sign. So if I'm AEW,
I'm signing Mickie James.
Mickie James, how much do you want? Because
no question.
She would just help elevate the women's division, like,
oh yeah,
and make it so much better. So I would just like blank check Mickie James. Here you go.
And I've been saying, like, on social media and stuff like that, like just because they released from WWE, I was like, the 90% of the people that they've released from the WWE, I don't think that they're a good fit for AEW right now. But see, Boogie said people complained about established guys doing jobs. They don't realize all these stars were made on these original matches when they that's what guys like Dustin and Matt Hardy were meant to do. That's the reason they brought them in there. They brought them in to help make these young kids into stars. And that's what needs to happen. And that's how you grow for the future. With their large roster, they need the vets to get the young talent TV ready. And I've been impressed with how and stuff. Yeah, dude, and that's 100%. And a lot of those veterans, that's what they want to do. They want to help build the next generation because they remember what it was like for them.
Chris Jericho wants the next Chris Jericho out there.
Yeah, and he thinks he's found it in Sammy Guevara. That's the whole reason why he said he wanted to work with Sammy Guevara from the past. From as soon as he met him in AEW, he's like, I want to work with this kid because this kid could be something special. And if I could say, I knew what you meant, man. But and that's the difference between a company like AEW and a company like the WWE. The WWE wanted to build people into stars that they choose. You know what I mean? And once they have those people, they don't want to let anybody else touch. They don't want to let anybody else in. That's why you've got them booking guys who are in their 40s and 50s over top of talent that they should be working to establish. That's a big deal. And again, that's Vince's mindset because he wants the brand to be the star.
And if you build them right and can keep them in AEW,
oh man,
MJF and Jungle Boy can be the next Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. That was that was the downfall of the WCW. The older guys didn't want to get the next generation ready, so they left. And that's like everybody talks about, well, what about AJ Styles? AJ Styles had to go to New Japan to become the AJ Styles that went to the WWE. If the AJ Styles who was in Impact, who was in TNA, if he went from TNA to WWE, he'd be a jobber.
Yep.
But he went to New Japan and he became the biggest thing in the world. So, and it's kind of like, like that saying that LeBron had to go to Miami to learn how to be a champion. AJ had to go to New Japan to become the AJ Styles that everybody loved that showed up in WWE.
Well, we got some good stuff to look forward to next week on some of these. We got the Evolution starts next week on Raw.
Listen, when it comes to her, I hope to God that I don't want this woman to fail. Okay. If she spent the last 5 years, like getting stronger and learning how to wrestle and be better in the ring, 100%. You know, like I'm not rooting for her to fail. I don't root for anybody to fail. But I look at this and I'm going, I don't buy it. It's just
the rumor is that she's there to help put over another talent like Mercedes.
Mercedes Martinez. Well, supposedly Mercedes Martinez is supposed to be her.
Yeah.
Is supposed to be her muscle.
Either that or some UK wrestler. I can't remember her name. Piper, is that her name?
Yeah, Piper.
Niven or something.
Yeah, from NXT UK.
Yeah. So it's one of those two, maybe working with Eve. Maybe.
Yeah,
that's the rumor right now.
Yeah. But what is announced for next week for C?
But then on SmackDown. I don't know, but on next week on AEW, you got Miro versus Evil Uno.
That's going to be good
for the TNA title or TNT title. You got Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler versus Penta, Pac, and Eddie Kingston.
That'll be interesting to see what happens because of Eddie Kingston's history with them.
Yeah, you got Hangman and Dark Order's 10 versus Cage and Hobbs.
Yep. And I think that match right there. I think is going to be that's where they're going to turn on Cage, or Cage is just going to leave them.
It's possible. And then you still got that segment, whatever they're going to do with Darby Allin and somebody other than Sting versus Page and Sky. I'm not sure if that's happening next week or not, but I know those three matches I talked about are.
Yep.
And then SmackDown, I can just say it's probably going to set up Mysterio versus Reigns for Hell in a Cell.
Yep. But on the Kazuna Road for New Japan, the two shows right before the final, you're actually going to be two world championship matches on there. So yeah, a lot of stuff that we're going to go into. But yeah, I think we're done. What do you got, man? You got anything else, or we forgot to do Who Better Than Randy?
We did.
We'll do that. We'll do it next week. Guys. Like I said, we're getting back into the feel of it. Frank's learning on the job.
It's great to be back.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of you. Like, share, subscribe, because we just started off again, so you're gonna have to do that again. I mean, I know you were subscribed to the Wrestling Council before. We're back, so you're gonna have to redo that again. Share us. Get some people in here because I got to talk to Rob. I want to do a little thing, try to get some swag, get some stuff, and have a little contest for the second half of the year for all of our followers and listeners. So stay tuned for more to come from HW. But I got a little thing I want to do, little contest to
cool.
generate some focus for this and bring some people in. Bob and I are from the Lorain, Cleveland area, and we're actually I was at Colossal Con, which is an anime convention in the Kalahari. There was one in Sandusky this past week. There's one coming to the Poconos in September, and then down in Texas in November. But it was a mega wrestling, a local wrestling group from Lorain, Amherst, Ohio was there, and they put on quite a good show. So hopefully we can get some contact with those guys and gals, and who knows.
Yep. And like I said, guys, if you can subscribe, share this out on your social media. More importantly than that, leave a comment in the comment section. Tell us what you guys want to talk about. And like I said, we're going to try to, this is as much your show as it is ours. And like I said, we've missed you guys. We're I'm a little rusty up here. I'm kind of running things up here. Frank's learning on the job, but we'll get back to where we were before. And
I'm not and don't be a curtain jerker.
Don't be a curtain jerker. By the way, the t-shirts will be coming back. I got to get with Boogie on that. We got to iron all that thing out, but thanks for being here with us, guys. We appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week.